Have you ever dreaded hearing the question, "Can you just fill it, doc?" Imagine it's a Monday afternoon. An emergency patient walks in with a broken tooth. You diagnose it. It needs a crown, a $1,500 procedure. As you explain this, the patient looks uneasy and asks, "Can you just fill it instead?" Today, we're tackling exactly how to navigate these critical moments. I'm excited to introduce a powerful, free resource as a thank you to our listeners called the $1 Million Patient Conversation. This is a 40-page guide that you can download using the link in the show notes. Why $1 million? Because mastering these conversations can literally add millions of dollars to your practice over your career. And since implementing these techniques myself, I've never had a patient default back to the filling question. Sounds too good to be true? Stick with me. Let's dive in. First, we need to understand why patients default to cheaper solutions. Patients don't naturally understand dental pricing. Often, their baseline expectation is their routine cleaning, possibly covered fully by insurance. Suddenly, hearing they need thousands of dollars in treatment? That sounds like bad news. Naturally, they're looking for an escape hatch, cheaper options, or delaying treatment. But here's the secret. Instead of delivering bad news, we deliver good news. Here's how anchoring works. When presenting a $1,500 crown, first explain that broken teeth sometimes require surgical extraction and an implant replacement, which might cost over $5,000. Or that sometimes they don't need an implant, but they do need a root canal, which can cost $3,000. But fortunately, in this patient's case, their tooth broke in the best possible way. No extraction, no implant, no root canal needed, just a straightforward crown at significantly less cost. Now, rather than focusing on crown versus filling, they're relieved to hear it's crown versus implant and that they got the much better end of the deal. This anchoring principle flips the patient's perception from bad news to great news. But does this only work for crowns? Not at all. Let's take implants. At first glance, implants seem like inherently bad news due to cost. However, before presenting your treatment, you explain that some patients require extensive bone grafting or sinus lifts costing upwards of $8,000 and often involving multiple specialists. The good news for your patient? Their bone structure allows you to skip those costly procedures, completing the implant conveniently in the office for around $5,000. Even in cases requiring additional procedures like a sinus lift, there's always a silver lining. Instead of needing extensive grafting, specialists, and multiple visits potentially reaching $9,000, your patient only needs a minor sinus bump, done simultaneously with the implant, reducing costs significantly to around $6,000. Framing the discussion this way doesn't just help case acceptance, it genuinely helps patients appreciate the real value of your recommended treatment. Now you might be thinking, isn't this approach manipulative? Not at all. It's informative. You're honestly sharing realistic scenarios to provide context, empowering your patients to make fully informed decisions, while also helping them to feel better about their treatment needs and to see things in a more positive light. What about patients who say, "I only want what insurance covers"? Often, they're not fixated on insurance, they simply lack context about what's expensive. They've been conditioned to anticipate bad news. By reframing the conversation positively, you'll be amazed at their openness to ideal solutions. And if you're worried about sounding scripted, let me assure you, it's not about reciting exact lines. It's about internalizing principles, understanding the psychology, and then conveying that message authentically in your own voice. But you should practice it so that it comes across easily and naturally. Mastering these conversations is just one cornerstone of the broader skill set we cultivate at Practice on Fire. Within our community, you'll discover the complete STAIRS method for presenting multiple, comprehensive treatment options strategically, advanced anchoring techniques, strategic pricing approaches, and mastery in handling patient objections, all backed by real-world case studies, personalized feedback, and support from expert coaches and colleagues. But you don't have to dive into the full program immediately to benefit. Today, we're offering you the powerful resource we've discussed, the $1 Million Patient Conversation, completely free. This detailed guide provides exactly what you need to begin immediately implementing anchoring into your practice. Remember, investing in your communication and patient interaction skills isn't just beneficial, it's essential for building a thriving, rewarding dental career. One conversation can earn you thousands weekly and potentially millions over your career. Today, I want to wrap up by addressing something I recently heard on another podcast related to the classic crown versus filling dilemma. The advice given by a consultant was straightforward. Build value around the crown and don't even mention the filling as an option. It's crown or nothing. Now, I have two major thoughts about this approach. First, this strategy runs counter to our principle of always delivering good news to the patient. Think about a typical hygiene patient. They walk in expecting a routine cleaning, fully covered by insurance, meaning they expected to pay nothing out of pocket. Suddenly, they're hit with the bad news of needing a crown. Without context, without mentioning that the situation could be worse, such as needing an implant or a root canal, the crown itself becomes the negative anchor. Human nature dictates that when we receive bad news, our instinct is to seek a better alternative. That's precisely when patients start asking if insurance covers it, if a filling might suffice, or worse yet, questioning if the recommended treatment is even necessary. The consultant argues you can overcome this by vigorously building value, emphasizing why the crown is necessary.
A, B, C. A always B, B, C closing. Always be closing. Always be closing.
But this often results in an uncomfortable, almost adversarial dynamic. You're pushing the crown, and the patient feels pressured into it. Second, and more importantly, true value building doesn't happen during a last-minute speech to patients who think their teeth are just fine. Real value is established long before the patient sits in your chair. The most impactful way to boost case acceptance isn't perfecting your pitch to disinterested patients. It's attracting patients who already recognize their dental problems and are actively seeking solutions. These patients don't need convincing, they simply need guidance toward the right treatment. They already know their front teeth are cracked or discolored. They're already self-conscious about their smiles. Your business model, therefore, directly impacts your case acceptance rate far more than mastering hard sell tactics with patients who think they're just fine. So here's a quick recap of the proven 3-step approach we advocate here at Escape Hygiene Health. First, develop clinical proficiency in high-value, productive procedures. Next, attract a consistent flow of patients who want these procedures because they recognize and care about solving their dental problems. Hint, many of these patients are not regular hygiene patients. Finally, implement reliable case acceptance techniques, financial systems, and efficient business processes to turn patient interest into completed treatment. Dentists who master these steps don't stress about insurance issues, DSO competition, or student debt. They simply thrive.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
As always, grab your copy of the $1 Million Patient Conversation using the link provided in the show notes. I'm Graham Dursley. This is Practice on Fire. Team POF out. This episode is brought to you by Practice on Fire, a platform dedicated to helping dentists like you conquer your most frustrating career challenges to unlock the path to a thriving practice. Here's the deal. We're all about sharing tons of actionable content for free. We want you to walk away with strategies that make a real difference in your career. But if you're ready to go deeper, to truly transform your practice and life, then our premium platform is your next step. What's inside? At Practice on Fire, we dive into the essential and often overlooked pillars of a successful dental career. Business systems. Build efficiency that frees you up to focus on what matters. Marketing. Attract the right patients, the ones who need and value your care. Case acceptance. Master the art of helping patients say yes with confidence. We've got hours of pre-recorded courses, but here's the game changer. An active community that guides you step by step through implementation. No more spinning your wheels in frustration. Think about it. Many dentists invest over 7 figures in their careers between student loans and practice ownership, but they've never invested in the critical skills that make the difference between struggle and success. Visit practiceonfire.com for free downloads, implementation guides, and details about how to take your career and practice to the next level. Want to take the hot seat? Think your practice could use a makeover? Apply to be a guest on our podcast. We'll give you an honest, no-holds-barred evaluation of your practice. Expect raw feedback, a breakdown of your numbers, and a tailored plan to tackle your bottlenecks. Vulnerability is required. Transformation guaranteed. Apply using the link in the show notes. All right, team, your transformation starts here. Let's light this fire.